Hello, 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 hello. What are you saying, ladies and gents? It is your boy, Bucket Sam. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Hopefully, I'm live now. You guys can tell me whether you can hear me. Hopefully, there's somebody in here. Hopefully, people can hear me. I'm going to keep saying hopefully, hopefully, hopefully. But we are now live, and it is the episode 13 of the Football Rambling series. So, I want to talk you through everything that's been going on, guys. I'm excited for this one. So we are going to start off with England versus Andorra. I don't know if you guys watched it or not. A lot of people aren't really into these kind of qualifiers because they are not that they're dull. I think that's the wrong thing to say. The World Cup qualifiers are a difficult one. Obviously, England in their group, it's a very, very. I'm trying to be nice here. It's not the most difficult of groups. That's what I'm trying to say. We never really seem to struggle. We always go through with flying colours. We batter most teams, batter most sides we play because the standard isn't great, let's be honest. But I'm going to just quickly run you through the team we play against Andorra. We played with Sam Johnson at the back in goal. Well, that's a pretty good side. I love that on its own. You know me being a West Brom fan. But the kind of players that were in it was kind of really the third string side. And the one thing I want to talk about, the one thing that was very interesting to see how he kind of handled the whole game and the situation was Alexander-Arnold playing in the central midfield role. And we've not seen Alexander-Arnold do this before. How do you guys think he got on? Let me know in the comment section below. Personally, I think he got on quite well, but I don't know why, but it did kind of wind me up, this did. I really don't think Alexander-Arnold should have played in the centre of midfield. We have got many midfielders in the squad, and many midfielders, players like Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, that played so well at the Euros. And there are players who are pushing on the side, knocking on the door, that want to get into that team. Because like when you look at the bench and you go through, we had Declan Rice on the bench, we had Mason Mount on the bench, we had Calvin Phillips on the bench. We've even, what's his name, Jack Grealish could have played in centre mid. And we seem for some reason to have played somebody like Alexander-Arnold in the wrong position. I personally don't get it, and I don't think it's the right time to be testing players because Alexander-Arnold, yes, he plays there. He'll play there for England one game. He might absolutely smash it. But then the thing is, he's not going to be doing this again until the next time these fixtures come around. I just personally don't get it. You guys may think I'm being silly. I may be wrong. But personally, I don't really agree with it. I think we should really be playing better players than that, or even just players in the right position. I thought Jude Bellingham really stood out. I think he definitely should have a shout in the team. John Henson, you know what you're going to get with him. But with Jude Bellingham, I think he's very good defensively and he's very good going forward. Sometimes lacks that last little bit in the final third, but that will come with time and with age. I think as he gets older and as he kind of gets used to the system and gets used to playing first team football, because at the end of the day, he's still a kid. He's still a kid. And he's playing absolutely unreal for his country. But I really liked him. I thought he played really well on that left-hand side. He linked up with Jesse Lingard and Bukayo Saka very well. I thought Bukayo Saka was unreal. Really like him as a player. I think Jesse Lingard's a very good player. Patrick Bamford, I think he struggled. I still don't think Patrick Bamford is good enough for England. I think he's a good player. But when you look at really his conversion rates, they aren't good enough really. He shouldn't. I think he did get help. That DCL obviously went home injured. Hopefully he'll be all right for my fancy. But we'll talk about fancy in a bit. Jesse Lingard, you know what you're going to get with him. He scored 2 goals and he got an assist. He's a very good player. But you can't take too much into these games because we're playing against Andorra, and Andorra aren't the greatest of team. And that's why a lot of people ask me, do you watch these games? I do struggle with them because they are so one-sided. Andorra had one shot in the game and it was from distance. And Sam Johnson saved it like it was absolutely nothing. But anyway, now I'm going to go and talk about the Premier League because I haven't really done a roundup of what's gone on so far in the Premier League. When you look at the table, who'd have thought it? The top 4, there's sort of 2 or 3 teams you'd expect in there. So at top of the table, unbeaten, is Nuno Espirito Santos's men, Tottenham, who are top of the league, 9 points from 3 games, but they've only scored 3 goals. And that's quite worrying when you look at the players they've got. They've won all 3 of their games 1-0. They beat Tottenham 1-0. Sorry, they beat Man City 1-0. They beat Wolves 1-0. And they beat Watford 1-0. And I would worry because in those 2 games, especially against Wolves, they were dominated in that game against Wolves. They were very lucky to get that win. Personally, I thought Wolves deserved the win. But what you're going to get with this Nuno side, and what Nuno always does, you know what he's going to do. It's going to be a very defensively sound team. He was a goalkeeper himself, so he likes to build from the back. They play all right football, but it's mainly counter-attacking style of play. All you know is that they're playing for a clean sheet, and anything on top of the clean sheet is a bonus, because his motto is, if you've got a clean sheet, you're guaranteed at least a point. So I get why he does it, but the thing is with Nuno, we saw this at the Wolves. When you're getting points with this system, everyone's behind it, everyone's backing it, and everyone loves it. But as soon as results don't start going your way with this formation and this style of play, they will get onto you, because Tottenham have got some absolutely unreal flair players who you'd really expect to be creating things. You look at the likes of Son, and when Kane's back, because Kane will be back, Lucas, Bergwijn, they've got a lot of creative players, Lo Celso, a lot of good players in their team that really would want to be playing in more of an expansive style of play and more of an expansive system. So we'll have to wait and see. And in second place, we have with there we go. I don't know why my phone just cut off, but I'm back. In second place, we have West Ham, and West Ham have got off to an absolute flying start. They've kind of taken in their form, because a lot of people said they wouldn't do very well, obviously, after all they went through. But we have, I'm going to look at the results now quickly. They beat Newcastle the first game of the season, 4-2. Can you hear me now, guys? Let me know. But they won their first game of the season 4-2 against Newcastle. Then in the second game, they beat Leicester 4-1, which was an absolutely bizarre game. I did that live, did a live watch along for that, and that was absolutely bizarre. And they drew their final game against Crystal Palace, and that was 2-2. And that was from Conor Gallagher scoring 2 goals, and they really should have won that game. But West Ham do look very good. But my one worry for West Ham going into this entire season is they've got one striker. Mikel Antonio is their only striker, really, who's going to get them goals. And he's very injury prone. He's playing every game at the moment. And he will get injured. Like, it happens every season. You all know Mikel Antonio will get injured. And that's the thing. As soon as he's injured, where are the goals going to come from? Fornals has bagged a few, but we'll have to wait and see. And Chelsea have got off to a great start. And I think what really showed us how good Chelsea were, obviously they put Arsenal aside like they were nothing. They put Palace aside like they were nothing. But they went to Anfield, they went one man down for an entire half and didn't concede, and they dominated. I genuinely, like, when I say they dominated, they didn't dominate the ball. Obviously, Liverpool dominated the ball, but they had chances. I thought they looked more dangerous than Liverpool in that second half, and I think that just shows you more about Chelsea than about Liverpool. And I'm really excited to see what Tuchel can do, because the thing is that the sky's the limit for that side. They've got big things coming from them, big things this season from them. But now I'm going to talk about the rest of the table, because obviously we need to go further down the table and look at the relegation zone. Currently now, the bottom 3 is Arsenal, who are bottom of the league, which is just bizarre saying. 19th, it is Norwich, and 18th, it is Wolves. All 3 sides are sitting on 0 points. 0 points. And we'll talk about the Wolves. Wolves have had a very tough start. Obviously, they've faced Leicester, Tottenham, and Man United. 3 good sides, and that is my only thing for them. I do think it's a pretty harsh start, but you'd expect more from Wolves under the new manager. But Norwich haven't really got off to a great start either. So, and Arsenal, I've said it before, Arsenal will not be down there. Arsenal will not stay down there. I know a lot of people think that it's very bad, but they've had a very difficult start to the season, and I think the next 3 games are huge, and they could come out of them, if they can beat Tottenham as well, come out with 9 points. They've obviously got Norwich, they've got Burnley, and then they've got Tottenham. I think it's that order. I'm not entirely sure, but those are the next 3 games, whatever order it is. But if they can come out with 9 points there, I think that's not a bad start to the season. It's not the worst, but I think these next 3 games will decide Arteta's future. If they don't get a win in at least one of these games, Arteta will be sacked. Okay, you heard that from here. I believe Arteta will be sacked if they don't get one win out of some of those games, because they require a win. Like, it's very much necessary. Very much necessary. They desperately need a win. But now I'm going to talk about the Championship, because a lot of people ask for my thoughts on the Championship. I love the Championship. You know I do. And the 2 teams at the top of at the top of the table are Fulham and West Brom. Obviously, the mighty West Brom. I think that those two, that will be the top two. I think both of those sides will get promoted. I said at the start of the season, I thought Sheffield United were going to win the league. But after watching them, wow, how badly they've been. I might do actually, you have to let me know in the comments, guys, but I might do a video now. And after the first few games, what we've seen, and my thoughts on who's going to get relegated from early days. I know it's too early to call, and I say it's very early to call, but I might do a video on it. I need to put out some content on the YouTube, so you might need to let me know what you guys want to see. But I think that could potentially be a good video. But at the bottom of the table, Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United, both bottom of the league. Very, very, very odd. Nottingham Forest on 1 point at the bottom of the table. No one really expected that, let's be honest. But yeah, very interesting start to the season. Some sides who no one really thought would be higher up, like Coventry. Coventry at the moment are sitting in the playoffs. Who would have thought that? Absolutely crazy. And I'm going to talk about quickly now again the Premier League top goal scorers. What we can see for fantasy now. Mikel Antonio, obviously, right now is the GOAT of fantasy with 4 goals and 3 assists from 3 games. My only worry with him is, yes, he is amazing. I love him. I just don't know. I haven't got him in my fantasy team because I know he's going to get injured very soon, and that's my worry. Then Bruno Fernandes. I'm probably going to get rid of him after this week because Bruno Fernandes is an unreal player. But my thing is, Bruno Fernandes is currently at Man United. He takes penalties, he takes free kicks. He scored 8 goals from dead ball situations. Well, Ronaldo's coming into the team. I tell you now, Bruno Fernandes will not be on penalties. No discussion. Ronaldo will take the penalties no matter what. That is a given. You know that. So I think Bruno Fernandes may not be as much of a point merchant as he used to be. That's my little hot tip there, just coming out from nowhere. But no, my team currently is I have Sanchez, the Brighton keeper, very cheap. I have Alexander-Arnold, Ruben Diaz, Shane Duffy and Luke Ayling. Then in the midfield, I have Damari Gray, Bruno Fernandes, Mohamed Salah, Sarr from Watford, Lukaku and Calvert-Lewin. Some good players there. I think Lukaku is the one this season who I think will be the bagsman. I really do expect him to score a lot of goals. And potentially he could be pushing on, scoring more than Ronaldo. No one really knows. I think that's a really difficult one to score, but I'm backing Lukaku. I want him to do well. And yeah, that's it really for my fancy roundup. There's not really much to say. I always struggle to do these rambling videos when obviously there's no football on. The international football's on, but there's not really much you can talk about. There's not much going on. But I'm just going to answer a few questions that you guys sent in. This will be a shorter rambling than normal. The Hopeless Wanderers podcast have sent me a message saying, do you enjoy international fixtures or do you prefer the domestic fixtures? No discussions here. I think domestic football is 10 times better than international. My problem is with international is a lot of it is just very boring to watch. When I say it's boring to watch, the only reason why I say that is because a lot of the games, they're just so one-sided, it is unreal. Because they are. As much as we don't like to say it, they are one-sided. And I only think that's because the way the seeding works and the way the groups work. England in our group, Poland are really the only side that are really going to test us. Other than that, we play the likes of Andorra. Not Hungary, really real tests. So I don't really watch much of the international games because I do think the tempo is very slow and sometimes they can be quite boring. But anyway, thank you for that question, the Hopeless Wanderers podcast. And now I'm going to do the next one from Matthew Dooley. Prime Lewandowski or Prime Suarez? Oh my word, Prime Suarez, potentially that one season was one of the best seasons I've ever seen. And then he went to Barcelona. And not only was he brilliant at Barcelona, but he made that Barcelona side better, which is so difficult to do when they had Neymar and obviously Messi. So he's very good. But then Lewandowski's done it for so many seasons. But I'm actually going to say Prime Suarez because I think Suarez is one of the most underrated players, potentially to have played in the Premier League or just around Europe. What he's done, everywhere he's gone, he wins trophies and he's a brilliant player. Always gets goals. He was brilliant at Atleti last season. Very good. And you can just see it, can't you, this season? Suarez and Griezmann up top together. They're gonna do some serious goals this year. A Chinara 2006 asks me, if you could buy a club in the Premier League, who would you buy? Wow. I wouldn't go for one of the big teams. I'd want to have a bit of a process. If I was looking at the side, with youngsters and that have got kind of a good future, a good youth setup. Really like Southampton as a club. I'd really like to run Southampton. There you go. They've always got good youth players coming through. We've seen many of them come up. And not only that, it's by the seaside, so I wouldn't mind being by the seaside. And I think that'd be a good side to look at. There you go. There's my answer, Southampton. And I really like their home kit. Does Manchester have the best clubs in England? I'm not even going to touch that question because you know what I say. I'm never giving those kind of opinions because it will annoy people. How do you think a club like AC Milan would do in the Prem from Finn? It'd be a really difficult one to say because the thing is when people ask me these kind of questions, if you watch Italian football, the style of play, or if you watch German football is very end-to-end. It's not very defensively minded. It's all about attack, lots of space, really overcommitting. And that's why players like Werner did so well because there was so much space in behind. Whereas in Italy, it's low blocks, defence v defence, not as many goals. So it'd be interesting to see how a club like AC Milan, whether a club could come in with those tactics and do it in the Prem, because the thing is in the Prem, it's a lot more physical, very, very energetic. So it'd be interesting to see how an Italian side would face it. But you kind of see it when Italian teams play against Premier League teams in the Champions League and the Europa League. It's always interesting to see how different styles play and different cultures of football. So there you go. If that answers your question, hopefully it does. Which EFL players do you think will move to Prem teams in the future? Well, the one for last season I did say I thought would move to a Prem team. And a lot of you, well, I said it from the start of the season, I thought Michael Elise was absolutely unreal. Like, unreal. He was unreal for Reading. So he was my pick last year. So this year, one player I think should have had the move already is John Swift, the Reading player. He's absolutely unreal. And I don't know why he's never had a move away. So far, 5 games into the season, he's got 3 goals and 2 assists. He's absolutely unreal. Mitrovic is a very good player, but I think he'll stay at Fulham because he's playing again. Carvalho, the Fulham winger, very good player. Really, other than that, I don't think there's many players at the moment. I think it's very early to call, but at the moment, I'd say John Swift. I know he's 26, 27. He's a very good player who deserves a move to the Premier League. He was linked with the Villa. He does 10 plus goals and assists every season from the midfield. He's very good. Very, very good player. And the final question from EFC Alfie. Best non-league ground you've been to? What National League games do you plan to go to? The best non-league ground I've been to. So my 2 favourites are Notts County because that just the actual stadium itself is huge. It's unreal. Like really, it should not be a non-league team. Notts County. The facilities and the actual ground itself is just unreal. That's Championship side easily. It's a beautiful stadium, brilliant ground that I went to. And it was a very good game that I went to as well. But my favourite is Watcher FC, a small village in Somerset. And I will go back and do a review there because this is where the first time, that was actually the day I came up, well, I say I came up, me and my girlfriend came up with the idea of Bucket Hat Sam, was when I was at that game watching the non-league football. And I said to her, more people need to see grounds like this. It's a ground on the side of a train track. And on the other side of the train track is a cliff face going into the water. And I've said it since day one. That is where the idea, I wanted to do some kind of non-league football content. And then I set up a YouTube channel that I'm doing now. And didn't really get a chance to do the non-league football because obviously then we went back into lockdown. So I kind of just did a YouTube channel. And that's now why I have a TikTok on the side, which is all about non-league football. But this is the YouTube channel here is all about all kind of football. But my next National League games I'm planning on going to, I'm going to Tividale tonight. And on the weekend, I'm going to watch Kiddie Harriers play. So there you go. Those are some games I'm going to. But yeah, guys, I think that's really it. That's a bit of a short one now for the rambling. I know I usually do more than this. I know I usually answer more questions, but not really much to report on. Let me know, guys. I think I might do a watch-along on Friday, hopefully, for the Birmingham City versus Derby County game. And maybe if you guys want, you'll have to let me know. But I could do it maybe with my girlfriend, or I could do it with my dad, maybe. It'd be quite funny to get somebody in who doesn't really know football just to chat with you all. So that could be a good shout. I might do that. But yeah, hopefully, guys, I'll see you soon. Hopefully, you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. And yeah, there will be more content coming out on the YouTube channel and on the TikTok this week. So send in any ideas, send in anything you want to see on my YouTube channel, and I promise you I'll put it out. But thank you guys for watching. Bucket Hat Sam over and out. Thank you again. Goodbye.